So maybe a good place to start. Walk us through some of the core findings of that work, specifically how CBG interacts with standard chemotherapies.
Yeah. So, you said already that pancreatic cancer is a very difficult cancer to treat, and a lot of cancer research is not driven towards pancreatic cancer. So I thought that, hey, there's not much in the literature with cannabis. There's some with how cannabinoids can help pancreatic cancer. So I thought, I was working with breast cancer for a while and I published with that, a lot of it triple negative and whatnot. And I talked last year about it. I said, hey, let me now see that how this works with pancreatic cancer. So obviously, the first step was to take CBD, which everybody wants to use CBD. And we thought, let's add a bunch of cannabinoids and see how they work. So we chose CBD, CBG, CBN, CBC, CBDV. So we took a bunch of various cannabinoids and see that how do they, behave against two different pancreatic cancer cell lines we use in the lab. One is PANC1. Both are PDACs, right? One is PANC1, second is MIAPACA. And we also have made a resistant PANC1 cell line in the lab, and also MIAPACA. These lines become easily resistant to gemcitabine after some therapy. They become easily resistant to it. So,
Hmm.
okay. Anyways, to moving on with the main story, a theme that we tried a bunch of cannabinoids. From these cannabinoids, we found that cannabinoids which had now remember that the gemcitabine is a very powerful drug. It has a very low IC50 for PANC1 or MIAPACA. But we found out that between the so many cannabinoids, three of them were the winners: CBD, CBG, and CBC. They were very close in the IC50, around 3 to 4 micromolar, right? Now, of course, remember if you use paclitaxel that will be in a very lower doses, but 4 to 6 micromolar is a decent value for a cannabinoid to be effective. That means that these cannabinoids are effective. They're not going into 40, 50 very high doses. At lower doses of 4 to 5 micromolar, they are effective against. And we found out that again, and we found with the breast cancer that with the resistant MIAPACA, CBG was as effective as against the wild type MIAPACA. So that's something we are looking at, that how come these cannabinoids in various cancer are so effective against resistant cancer cell lines where the drugs don't work, which is the chemotherapy drugs. But anyway, so we have these three cannabinoids we outlined. So since I
Mandip,
have one,
real quick, just I want to jump in here. There were just a few terms I wanted to clarify before we get any further. So was it IC50?
yes, IC50, that the concentration required to kill 50% of the cells.
Okay.
That's called IC50 value. How much we don't want to kill the 90% of the cells or all the cells. We want to see what is the IC50. There's also IC25,
Got it.
that is a lower dose below the 50% cell kill. That dose we use when we use a combination therapy. We use a lower dose so that we can see any synergism or not. Because when we combine two cannabinoids or a drug and a cannabinoid, we want to see that how can we lower the dose of either the chemotherapeutic drug, which I'll talk about later,
Yeah.
or lower the dose of cannabinoid. Cannabinoids are not very toxic. You can maintain their dose, IC50, but lower the dose of chemotherapy, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But anyways, getting on with my story, that we found that the three cannabinoids were relatively in the same ballpark, 4.5, 5, 4.6, in the same range, so equally effective. So now we said, okay, CBC, we had a different plans for it, which we are doing now. Now, all this is unpublished work, so nothing has been published. So what we are talking is something which is going to come out in print down the line. So we found out that we said, okay, let's combine CBD with CBG combination therapy. Does it
Hmm.
work well or not? So, well, we did in vitro, and there's something called the isobolographic method where we keep one drug in a constant concentration and vary the second, and then keep the second one constant and vary, and see that do they work as a function which is synergistic or antagonistic or additive or whatever. So we found that when we combine CBD and CBG, they work very well from being additive to synergistic, depending on what dose levels you are mixing them together. So we said, okay, looks like CBG and CBD combination works very well. In vitro, we did in 2D and 3D, and we went into in vivo. This is where the story gets very interesting, that we were expecting that, hey, if we use CBD, we use CBG by itself, and then combine CBD, CBG, and then we combine with gemcitabine. The typical dose given in animals is 25 milligram per kg IP, with what we gave for gemcitabine. And then we, try to give a dose of CBD and CBG. We kept the dose of CBD at 15 milligram, and then use say 10 milligram dose of CBG. So the total of 25 of two, hoping that they will synergize and become pretty good, or at least be additive in that case. Well, very interesting observation we found, that when we gave CBG alone at the 10 milligram per kg, or CBD alone at 15 milligram per kg, we tried different doses. We found that at every dose level, CBG was superior to CBD. The animals survived better with CBG than with CBD. And when we combined CBD with CBG together, we found no benefit. We found no benefit. So that means that they are competing, and this we did several times. This is the work of 1 year and still continuing, and we got very interesting, revelations that I'm going to talk as we move along in this discussion. So, and then what we did that, okay, then we said that and I couldn't believe that, why would CBD not behave better than CBG or as good? But the data is data, and it was telling me time and again. So then we said we have to drop CBD. We have to drop the combination idea and move on what's being done in the clinic, which is in the clinic, they gave gemcitabine along with nab-paclitaxel, or Abraxane, we call it. So we're going to go with CBG plus gemcitabine plus nab-paclitaxel and the respective control, which will be CBG alone, CBG plus gemcitabine, then CBG plus gem plus nab-paclitaxel, and then CBG with nab-paclitaxel, right? Now remember that in the literature or in the clinical practice, they have found out that if you add nab-paclitaxel to the mix along with gemcitabine or anything else, the nab-paclitaxel prolongs the lifespan by a few more months. It's not very tremendous. That if you're going to die in 6 months, you die in 9 months, so to speak. It's not humongous. That's what's documented in the literature. So we then started working with a dose. It's okay, we're going to use CBG by itself. Let's use at least 25 milligrams, right? So we started that dose of CBG alone, 25 milligram, and did combination with gemcitabine, and then the triple combination. Well, we found out that with gemcitabine combination with CBG, the animals were doing good, but after a while, they lost so much weight because of gemcitabine of 25 milligram per kg, right? And we have all this data, which is not giving us many good hope as something can happen good for for us. So I said, well, that means that let's do one thing. Let's jack up the dose of CBG higher. We know it's not toxic. We already did a lot of work on that. It's not toxic. And lower the dose of gemcitabine to 12.5 milligram per kg. Where it does not do, it does work at that dose too, but not for that much. So we drop the dose to 12.5, half the dose, right? And then use CBG 50 milligram per kg. And we found that now the animals were healthier, right? While with gemcitabine, but we found out that after 2 weeks, when we gave even a low dose gemcitabine to animals, after some time, the animals were losing some weight, but slowly. but it is still toxic. So, but we combine that now with CBG, and we found out that the animals were surviving much better, right? And we could increase survival by at least 10 to 12 days more. But I said no, there is a better we can do. I said let's go to 100 milligram per kg of CBG. CBA you can give more, right? Because it has its own problem. Unless you have a very great formulation of CBG with high bioavailability, that's what we are working on now. That maybe we can lower that dose to improve. This is just plain CBD, may put in some proper solvent where it can dissolve very well, add some cauliflower, whatever that is.
Now, is it being injected or is it taken orally? How is it?
No, this was being given IP. You gave it IP. Okay. So even IP, the absorption, still the same issues come, give IP orally slightly worse, but so anyway, so we gave 100 milligram per kg along with gemcitabine 12.5 milligram per kg. The animal survived up to 50 days.
Oh, wow.
The 50 days, the animal survived very well, right? So we said that, okay, so that means that we can prolong survival, decrease toxicity, right? So and that will give, and then when we combine that with nab-paclitaxel, right? Strangely, that difference between CBG plus GEM and CBG plus GEM plus nab-paclitaxel, which we gave at 5 milligram per kg dose, right? Was only about 7 days. They live 7 days longer than, so which is come from the data from the clinic that the nab-paclitaxel is good. It is a delivery system with Taxol nanoparticles made from albumin that, but no, when it goes to that, but this tumor is very hard to get into. So there is a problem of those nanoparticles who enter that tumor that effectively, right? So we found the same thing. The difference was not that tremendous, but there was a difference, right? And so that means that we could go up to a higher dose of CBG safely. The animals are living longer in combination with GEM. The GEM dose is lower, so toxicity has gone down. So that was a great revelation for us. But then we said, okay, this is what we are doing now, that we know that CBD and CBG do not work, but CBD and CBC should work because they have different mechanisms. And we also know from our PK data that CBC helps in the kinetics of other drugs because the way it binds to the CYP enzymes. So it does help a lot in improving the kinetics of CBD or CBG. So then I said, okay, now we're on this track now. This is what we are, working very well. Let's see if we can just eliminate nab-paclitaxel and just use CBD, CBC, and GEM, right? So this way we have one chemo and two cannabinoids. And the cannabinoid we have chosen is that they have different mechanisms. CBC works differently than CBG, very distinctly different. And then also, it may improve its kinetics and give it to the animal and see how that works. And that's what we are doing now. And so far, the animals are not, the tumor burden is not there much. And we are now in day 30 and they look fantastic. Wow. So I'm hoping that by putting, you have to choose your cannabinoid very carefully, what you are using, and the data speaks for itself. And you have to know the mechanism, how these things work. And it looks like that CBD and CBG have some common mechanisms and pathways. So when they put them together, they do not work. But CBG and CBC works very well. So and maybe CBD and CBC will work very well too if we go that direction. So that's where we are, and this experiment is continuing now. But my presentation I gave you for the abstract was mostly on CBG, but we thought, hey, this is the icing on the cake. It'll be another thing that we can present, and we have time till that time to do all that. Yeah. Excellent. So that's the story we have, that how we found out that CBG is working and why we chose CBG against CBD.
Excellent.